Welcome back to Winnipeg as we get set for this afternoon game between the Blues and the Winnipeg Jets. Alexander Steen, you're born here in Winnipeg. You know this team. You know the way they play. What are some of the keys as you get ready for this pretty fast Winnipeg Jets club?
I think they play a little bit different than when we played them last. They're a little bit more structured. Their D like to jump into plays as well, so it'll be key for us as forwards to get back and help our D out.
You're without Jay Bouwmeester. That's quite a streak that he was on. I'm sure you guys feel bad for him, but what do you have to do defensively to make up for the loss of a guy that plays so many big minutes?
Well, that's one of our guys who jumps up in the rush and on the plays and then really ends up creating a lot of stuff for us forwards. Even though sometimes he doesn't get the puck, he's creating a lot of space for us. So he'll be missed both defensively and offensively tonight.
Alexander, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Banger.
All right, Darren, thank you very much. Our Dobbs starting goaltenders. Jake Allen goes back in net. He was the loser in Montreal, but on the road this year is 2-1. And he'll go against the Czech goaltender, Ondrej Pavlik, who lost to the Red Wings the other night 4-3. Blues Hockey is sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly. And off the face-off, Schwartz dumps it in. The STL line on against the Jets top line of Andrew Ladd, Brian Little, and Blake Wheeler. And this is a matchup that you might see a lot of today.
Yeah, I talked to Paul Maurice, the head coach of Winnipeg, just prior to the game, and he said that this line is really getting the recognition of being their top defensive team line, but they can also throw in the Lowry, Scheifele, and Frolik line as well on the second part of defending against the top line like the STL line.
Now it's Barrett Jackman on defense with Alex Pietrangelo. And for Jackman, game number 744. That ties Brett Hull for third all-time in Blues history. And now Jackman back to get it. He is worked over by Matthew Perreault. Puck centered. And there's Steen. Oh, he almost lost it to Byfuglien. Byfuglien has been used as a defenseman and a forward, and a big hit by Byfuglien on Jackman.
Jackman started it in the corner by taking out big Byfuglien, and then Byfuglien finishes him off there as Jackman and Pietrangelo are under duress in their own zone early.
Now Kane into Frolik, and a shot and a glove save by Allen on Michael Frolik.
How about the forecheck of the Winnipeg Jets right off the hop here? When the Blues coaches said they've got to weather the storm early, they were not wrong. This is a ferocious start here for Winnipeg.
They go after you with two forwards.
And they finish their checks. They don't skate away, veer away from you. They eliminate you.
Jets are a very physical club. 7th in the NHL in hits this year with 560. As Shattenkirk holds it in. Trying to get to the front, knocked away, and Mark Scheifele back for Winnipeg. Now for Lowry. He comes in, and a shot up high, and a save by Allen on Dave Lowry's son, Adam Lowry.
Great to see Adam Lowry has really won over his teammates and his coaching staff as well. And Dave Lowry played over 1,000 games in the National Hockey League. And that's a good save there by Jake Allen. Smart shot by Lowry, trying to use the defenseman as a screen, but a better save. And again, you see Frolik trying to go to the far side. Might have gone wide a little bit, but a good, quick alert save anyway. And as Jackman goes to make his pass, he just gets drilled by Byfuglien on a clean check.
Of course, Dave Lowry, part of those really good teams in the early 90s. It comes in front. Jake Allen down, makes a couple of pad saves. Then he covers as the Jets storm that net again.
Yeah, this line for the Winnipeg Jets hasn't chipped in much offensively, not getting a whole lot of ice time as we talked about in the open, but that was a quality scoring chance. So going up against the Lapierre line with the Winnipeg native Ryan Reeves, funneled shot on the net on the short side, and then Thorburn gets another whack at it. Jake Allen did a great job with his left pad on the second one and was able to smother it up.
And now the face-off between Slater, the Jets' top face-off man, but now he's kicked out, so Thorburn will take it against Steve Ott. Ott is very good in the circle. Controls this one. Ott's 55% on the year. Nice pass in for Reeves. Off his leg. And Thorburn the other way, but the Jets are offside.
And then Thorburn here and Ryan Reeves right off the hop. The two fourth lines getting into it. And there's the linesmen are going to jump in right there. Otherwise, these two big boys were going to go at it. And that wasn't part of my Toyota keys to the game for Ken Hitchcock's club. But a scrap early in the game always gets everybody going. But my Toyota keys to the game are certainly the Latera against the little line. Paul Maurice has last change. He'll get the little line against Lehtera as much as possible and jam the net against Big Pavlik, the goaltender from the Czech Republic. Ryan Reeves and the fourth line had a real good game in the last one. That's a good hit there by Ryan Reeves up against Thorburn. And then Thorburn just gives him a little tug there. That's the signal to let's get her going. And they nearly did, except the linesman jumped in.
Now Lehtera off the boards. Tobias Enstrom into Little, and that goes offside. And Darren, I liked your interview with Ryan in the pregame show when you mentioned to Ryan that the Jets play a physical game and a hard forechecking game. He had a big smile. He said, bring it on.
Well, that's when he's at his best, as we all know. That's when most fourth lines get into the game. That's why it's hard being a third-pair defenseman going up against a fourth line, because that's what they are. They're not finesse guys. They're guys that are they're going to play greasy game. They're going to have an edge to their game. I mean, let's face it, when Ryan Reeves is going, he grew up playing football just like his dad, Willard, the CFL star for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and a little bit in the NFL. But, you know, he hits hard, and he finishes his check, and he's a great fighter, so well-respected in that area. If it's a soft game, a ball hockey game out there, it does not benefit Ryan Reeves.
Now it is Berglund at center between Oshie and Steen. Steen had 7 shots and the game-winning goal yesterday in Ottawa. Now the Jets get the puck back, and then Byfuglien is met by Jackman, and they have words at center ice. And now TJ Oshie, big hit at center ice, trying to run through Stewart. And the puck goes back to Trouba. Jacob Trouba, out of Michigan. He'll blast it in behind the Blues goal. Allen tees it up for Shattenkirk. Takes the hit from Evander Kane. And now around for Schwartz. Shots are 5-0 for the Jets here in the first 3.5 minutes.
Well, in back-to-back afternoon games, you would expect that it would be furious on behalf of Winnipeg. You'd be disappointed they didn't start out this way. Jake Allen's done a good job of weathering the storm in net. Now
Wheeler, and he is spun around by Carl Gunnarsson. The puck floated high back down the ice. And here is Enstrom. This pass to Ladd, the former Blackhawk. And a drive by Ladd on goal, and a big pad save by Allen. Then Tarasenko does a pirouette at his line. Knockdown, gets up, and maintains possession. And now fires it in.
Good second effort there by Tarasenko. One hand on his stick, he swatted and got it back from Blake Wheeler.
Now Ladd to center ice, and then wristed back in by David Backes. And Paul Postma there. Down low, Backes trying to get it. Scheifele walks it onto center ice. Here he comes, Scheifele up the middle. And a shot blocked by Cole. And it goes back on the goal now for Lowry. He lets it go for Furlik. Now Furlik, a cup winner a couple of years ago with Chicago. Butler knocked it away, and he'll take a penalty here and a holding minor.
Look at this line for the Winnipeg Jets with Lowry, Scheifele, and Frolik getting the puck down deep, doing a good job of layering it in there and putting pressure. The holding call comes out of the corner there on Frolik, but I mean, really, it's a 2-on-2 scrum down below there. I'm sure Butler just returning back to the National Hockey League after playing every game last year for the Calgary Flames. The pace of play between the American League and the National League, especially against a team like Winnipeg, much different.
And he had 9 points in 14 games with the Chicago Wolves. First power play of the day. Scheifele a shot. That's blocked by Jackman. That stung.
That hurts, yep.
And now Byfuglien at the point. Lost it. And again, the Blues clear it away. We mentioned earlier, Byfuglien plays both forward and defense. And he's done that throughout his career. And you'll see him on the point on the power play with a big shot from back there.
Amazing that this power play has only scored 6 goals on 70 opportunities on the power play. Power play is a very, very woeful 8.6%.
And 0 for the last 22.
Amazing, especially with a guy like, a guy like Byfuglien, a guy like Wheeler. Maybe they don't have that true playmaking guy, but still.
Now Enstrom in for the speedy Wheeler. Wheeler sends it back for Enstrom. Byfuglien is open on the right side. Now he gets it. Byfuglien winds up a shot and a pad save by Allen. And the puck to the line again. Byfuglien quickly across for Enstrom. Back to the top to Byfuglien, a drive. Blocked in front by Gunnarsson. He fronted the puck very well and rips it down the ice. 50 seconds left in Butler's minor. Andrew Ladd leads the club with 2 power play goals. As Wheeler comes in, pass back, but no one's home in the left point. And now Bogosian for Trouba. Stretch pass for Ladd. He'll send it around the inboards. Cole is there. Puck chipped up in the middle. Comes down to Pietrangelo, and he lofts it high and back into the Jet zone. Shots are 7-0 Winnipeg, no score. Now Trouba for Bogosian with 10 to go in the power play. That comes around for Frolik. And then Lowry doing some forechecking. 3 Blues are there. Steen knocked a man down. And the Blues get Butler back, so they've killed it off. Jets center it. Scheifele had it, lost it. And now Alexander Steen on to Backus. Center ice to Shattenkirk. He wanders in, and a shot. Oh, and Pavlik had to go off his arm in a rather funny angle. That's the first shot he has faced tonight.
Really looks shaky on that long one there.
And now Trouba gets away from the forecheck. That pass hit a skate of Laterra. Comes back to Bogosian. And then Trouba tries the other side. Good stick there by Pietrangelo. See if the Blues can get some offense going. 12:45 left here in the first. Now the puck into the zone. Schwartz after it against Bogosian. And he fell down. Schwartz picks it up. To Pietrangelo, a shot on goal. Juggled a bit by Pavlik. And he has it in his glove. As the Blues get a couple of shots on goal. No score here in the first.
Well, the only 2 shots for Ken Hitchcock's St. Louis Blues have come from defensemen at long distance right here as the Blues still trying to get settled down in this game. This one was an easy save, but it just jumped off the paraphernalia of the goaltender Pavlik. Good play by Schwartz back to the point, and before Laterra can get any rebound, Pavlik makes that save there.
Pavlik has played 19 games this year, second most in the entire NHL, so he has seen a lot of work.
His partner Mike Hutchinson's played extremely well with a 3-1-1 record.
And the puck is shot down the ice, and that is going to be an icing call. Well, the holidays are right around the corner. 3- and 5-game Blues holiday packs go on sale now. 3-game packs start at $99. Buy a 5-game pack in select locations and get a free Tarasenko blanket for every 2 seats purchased. Buy your holiday pack before December 5th and get the December 8th game for free. Go to stlouisblues.com or call 314-622-BLUE. And off a face-off, it is TJ Oshie. Gets some help there from Steen. And then Oshie again, worked over by Perreault. And Matthew Perreault gets it back in front of his own goal now for Kane. And Evander Kane. And a backhand pass, a blind one, picked off by Butler. And now Steen back to get it. He was checked. Kane for Byfuglien. He drops it off. Kane gets it again. Long wrist shot, blocked by Butler. Good job. And that sends Steen on his way to center ice. Trying to go by Postma. And now we get a whistle and an offside.
Steen trying to get that little chip in there on the far side after his shift, but the physicality here as Party gives him the roughing over there as you see Steen's trying to get it on his backhand there and try to, then when he gets it on his backhand, he'll try to reverse hit the defenseman and try to catch him off guard, which normally does catch a defenseman off guard. He is as strong as they get in the NHL, even with one hand on his stick, and he is one of the better reverse hitters in the league. But he's been good against Winnipeg in his career, too.
Yeah, 5 goals in 9 games against the Jets. Now it is Enstrom. Almost lost that in the skates of the referee. The referees today, Mark Jonette and Dave Jackson. And the Blues hold it in. It is Enstrom, tracked down by Laterra. Now reverse for Bogosian. Their first-round pick in 08. He was taken 1 spot ahead of Alex Pietrangelo. And the puck sailed high to the blue zone for Little. Little pulls up to Ladd, a shot. And Ladd put that one wide on the short side. And played around by Bogosian now for Ladd again. The Jet captain far side. Bogosian. Angles one to Wheeler. Wheeler in front. And near the goal. Now they score. Little gets the rebound. And it's 1-0 Winnipeg.
Well, their top defending line gets going on the offensive side of it. And Wheeler comes into this game with 0 points in his last 3. Takes it on the backhand. The right-hand shot wheels it in front. It goes off the skate. Jake Allen doesn't know where it is, because by the time here Wheeler gets it and passes it across, it actually caroms off the skate, the stick blade of Pietrangelo. He thinks it's going north. It bounces back off Laterra's skate right on the stick to Brian Little, who just jams home his 6th goal of the year. He had 0 points in his last 7 games. So the top line has been a defending line for Paul Maurice, but not chipping in on the offensive side of it. What a start for the line of Ladd, Little, and Wheeler.
His 6th, but his first goal in 14 games. And it's 1-0 Winnipeg. Now on, a big hit on Thorburn. And now the Jets get it back on the line to Trouba. Trying to walk the line, Trouba's shot, and that's off a stick and out of play.
Well, Steve Ott jumps onto the ice with the 4th line, and man, does he ever go after a bigger player in Thorburn. I mean, Steve Ott lays it absolutely on the line with this hit right here, and a good one on the left side of your screen. Good, strong hit against Thorburn. Remember, it was Thorburn that was tugging on the jersey, wanting to get a piece of Ryan Reeves, and between the benches, this is where Steve Ott's at his best. And I know from being between the benches, when it's quieter, he doesn't get to sit on the end of the bench and chirp and get things going. He's not quite into the game, but boy, does Ott. He comes in there and elevates against a much bigger player in Thorburn, trying to get him up around the shoulder area to finish his check. And I'm looking at the bench, John, and Ott's still going at it over there.
And now the Blues from the faceoff. Here is Cole. Dropped off to Butler, and he doesn't clear it out. Lowry gets it for the Jets. Here's Lowry in tight, and he ends up back of the goal. And now Ian Cole there again. Lowry stole it, centers, and a shot, and Allen makes the save. What a save there on Frolik. And the puck up the wing now for Lindstrom.
As Adam Lowry has been terrific. Every time he's been on the ice, he just makes smart plays.
Now Lindstrom slides one through to Backus. Backus behind the goal. Stastny, a wraparound attempt, comes in front. And now the Jets the other way. And that's whipped in on goal by Frolik.
Great response. Heck of a save there by young goaltender Jake Allen. It's been a little under siege here early on.
Now the Blues come in against Steen. Forehand to the backhand. There's down low. Good reverse hit against Stewart. Now Steen to Oshie. The shot on goal, and a save there by Andre Pavlik.
Good strong play by Alexander Steen to get that puck up high to TJ Oshie for the one-timer.
Little gets the goal from Ladd and Wheeler. 1-0 Jets.
Well, Jake Allen settled himself down by making a really good save after that ricocheted first goal of the game. He has no chance on it. He doesn't even know where the puck is on that one play that bounces off Laterra's skate and right on the tape to Little. I'm sure that Jake Allen and Alex Pietrangelo thought that puck was going the other way. And here's the play by Lowry, a reverse little pass over there to Frolik. Frolik tries to go to the stick side, and Jake Allen stayed very, very calm, very patient, got himself in a very good position, making a stick save. But another terrific pass by Adam Lowry, number 17 for the Jets.
When scoring first, the Jets are 7-3-2. When the Blues allow the first goal, 3-4-1. As now Steen steps in against Perreault. Face off to the boards, controlled by the Jets. And then Trouba up for Byfuglien. Blues regather, and now it is Shattenkirk with plenty of time at his own line. Off Steen's stick. Berglund trying to track it down in there against Stewart. And here's Trouba. His pass intended for Byfuglien, off the mark. Shattenkirk. That's center now for Berglund, and he gets the puck into the Jet zone. Drop pass for Schwartz, and a shot. And that was blocked by Trouba, and it goes high. Fox Sports Midwest and Bommarito Automotive Group present the Missouri High School Football Championships. 2 days of live coverage starts November 28th. Get the full schedule and channel numbers at foxsportsmidwest.com. Watch the Show Me Bowl on Fox Sports Midwest Plus.
Now,
and of course, in the big Class 6 final game, CBC and Rockhurst. Darren?
Can't wait for that one, big fella. Looking forward to it. And let's keep our eye on Barrett Jackman as well. After blocking that shot, last pairing was Shattenkirk and Pietrangelo together.
Couple of good moves by Tarasenko in front. Knocked down, now back on the line to Butler. Here's Butler and Schwartz. Butler across for Cole. Fires it. That was tipped by Laterra and a pad save by Pavlik. And the Jets take over. Then Toby Enstrom. Up the boards. Cut off there by Tarasenko. He was upended. And now the Jets thinking offense. Bogosian for Ladd. A shot. And that's up high by the head of Allen. And chopped away by Laterra into Winnipeg ice. Both teams making changes. Now Bogosian. And across for Scheifele. And then for Frolik, the longtime Florida Panther. Twist one to the corner. Shattenkirk battles there against Lowry. Now Lowry. To this side for Frolik.
Yeah, Paul Maurice told me before the game that whenever there's a line that needs a little bit of a jump, Frolik jumps on that line. And he's so well liked, and he compliments anybody out on the ice. So he's been jumping back and forth between Ladd and Little, and now he's with Scheifele and Lowry, and they've been good.
Now the Jets work it on to Scheifele, their first round pick in 2011 to Frolik, a shot, and scooped up quickly by Allen, right in the mitt.
Good entry by the Winnipeg Jets, gaining the line, quick passes, and again going to the glove side on Jake Allen. Jake Allen's shown a good glove so far. In the meantime, Laterra in front of the net after Tarasenko tries a little dangling move from right to left. This play develops here in a nice little redirection there where the left pad save of Pavlik. And talking to Paul Maurice, he said during the lockout when he was coaching in the KHL, John, his main player was Evgeny Malkin. And after playing a game against Laterra's team, Ken Hitchcock sent Paul Maurice a text and said, what about this Laterra? How good was he against Malkin? And Paul Maurice told me today, he said, I should have said he was no good whatsoever.
Because now he's in his division.
But he said he is unbelievable. Typical Finn, knows the game both ends, and he defended against Malkin the whole game and did a great job.
Paul Maurice took over last January for Claude Noel. And now in his second year, first full year after spending some time in Carolina and Toronto as a head coach.
And it tells you a little bit about Hitchcock too, trying to get as much information as possible, because Paul Maurice said it's not like Hitch and I text each other or call each other all the time, and I got this text out of nowhere after one of the games that he must have been watching during the lockout. And of course we know that that's what Ken Hitchcock does. 670 NHL wins. He's certainly been a man devoted to the great game of hockey.
Is he ever? Of course, born in Edmonton, Alberta is Ken Hitchcock, and now in his fourth year behind the Blues bench. Blues off the faceoff. Steen in the circle, can't get a shot. And the puck snatched away by Thorburn and into the Blues zone. Gunnarsson for Shattenkirk. Well, we mentioned that Bouwmeester can't play with a lower body. The healthy scratches today, Porter and Payarvi. As Oshie works one to the corner on Pardy. Oshie fights off Adam Pardy's check. Trying to get away from a couple of Jets now. Picked up by Postma. On to center ice for Bogosian. That hit Gunnarsson on the dump in. And now the Blues slide it down the ice. Oshie gets to the docks first. Oh, and a collision there. The Jet player ran into the goalpost. That was Pardy. And he looks around at the referee.
Well, no, it's a direct result of TJ Oshie getting the inside track. I mean, let's think of it as a horse race or NASCAR. I mean, Oshie gets in on the inside, and you can barely see it there around the net, and Pardy ended up on the kind of the outside here. Pardy probably thinks he's got him there, but Oshie's last-ditch effort, he goes to the inside, and really he eliminates any space for Pardy to get to, and Pardy didn't expect that. Oshie's been hopping early on in this game. He's been battling the corners. You can tell his relationship with Berglund, too. They want to make this thing go. Steen, Berglund, and Oshie, after lines have been tweaked again this afternoon.
You're right. That looked like a NASCAR battle there. Oshie.
He got his lane early.
Around turn 3.
Don't they always go to the left, too?
Yes, they do. Just like the horses. Now it is Bogosian. 6:10 to go here in the first period. Shots 11-5 Winnipeg. Little comes in. He's got the only goal in front for Ladd, and a good back check there by Tarasenko. Tarasenko's had one minus game all year.
Amazing.
And now the puck in the corner. Scooped away by Pietrangelo. Long stretch past Tarasenko. He's got a breakaway. Here he comes. And a shot, and he didn't get a lot on it as he was hounded from behind.
Terrific pass and instincts there by Alex Pietrangelo.
And now Chris Butler. Oh. He is all buried by Wheeler, and Butler down. He shaken up a bit. And Backes goes after Wheeler. Butler seems to be okay.
U.S. Olympic teammates Blake Wheeler and David Backes. And boys sticking up for that hit as Butler is facing the boards. Wheeler sees the numbers and just drills him into the boards face first.
And I believe Wheeler rather, will get a penalty here.
Well, fortunately for Chris Butler, he appears to be fine after taking that hit from behind by Blake Wheeler. I mean, Blake Wheeler's not one of these vicious, dirty players, but he probably saw that Butler would cut back into the left or cut over to the right. Butler actually ends up going straight into the boards, and he clearly gets hit from behind. For Vladdy Tarasenko, what an outstanding pass by Alex Pietrangelo right on the tape. And I think Enstrom's long stick just got in the way of that shot at the very last second. Just maybe nibbled the end of the blade of Enstrom.
So a boarding minor to Wheeler. Blues get their first power play of the afternoon.
Yeah, David Backes came in and dropped the mitts and tried to get Wheeler. No penalty there on Backes on that play.
Now Shattenkirk, a shot, and that was tipped wide. Then it comes around to Stastny. Stastny up front with Oshie and Backes. Indirectly back to Shattenkirk. Now for Steen. Shot tipped on goal by Oshie. Puck loose and swatted away by the Jets and back to center ice. Blues were 0 for 4 yesterday. Into the zone. Drop pass. Backes a shot. And that goes wide. Backes leads the Blues with 4 power play goals. Tied up down low by Scheifele, but now Oshie over there. Scheifele trying to clear it. He does. Gets it by Shattenkirk, and now in for Ladd. Here comes Ladd, works in for the shot. And a stick save by Allen.
Good second effort there by Andrew Ladd. He just wouldn't stop moving. He and Scheifele just challenging and challenge. A lot of times when you're shorthanded and you've got some pressure on you, just, dump it in. But, man, he actually created a pretty decent scoring chance out of that.
The Blues have the 3rd best power play, just under 24%. The Jets are 6th on the kill. Into the zone now for Cole. Ian Cole around for Tarasenko. He'll set up shop on the far side.
No one's on the left point. There we go.
Tara's in front. Now back to Cole, and he dusted off, but the puck comes to center ice.
That's what happens when you're flirting with that blue line as close as Cole was flirting with it. All it takes is one little pop off your stick, and there's no margin for error to keep it in the zone. And what a sequence this is here. The shot by Steen intended for Oshie. Quick little redirection to the high slot by TJ Oshie, who's had a good start to this game. Pavelec gets a piece of that. Pavelec's a big boy. 6'3", about 232 pounds.
Out of the Czech Republic. 30 to go in the power play.
Yeah, he and Frolik are good buddies and from the same hometown. Kladno.
Now the Blues storm the near corner. On this power play, Shattenkirk for Schwartz. And then down low, Laterra was turned around. Can't get it. And now Tarasenko on the boards. Checked away from him and blasted down by Slater. And Allen has to work it up the boards. And now for Lapierre. Jets are back at full strength. So the Blues 0 for 1. Ott back to Shattenkirk. Trying to hit Lapierre. And off the end boards, and right into the goal crease area, covered by Pavelec.
That would have been icing. That would have been icing. And Pavelec's got a defenseman coming back. Just a lack of communication there by the Jets. Otherwise, Pavelec doesn't even touch that puck. Linesman was just about to blow it down. It's a big break here for the Blues. I mean, this should be a face-off in the Blues zone because that's clearly icing. Defenseman's going to touch it. The linesman on the top is going to blow it down. Next thing you know, the goalie plays it. Just a little bit of a lack of awareness there.
Well, the Blues are the 2nd best face-off team in the league, over 53% as a team. Just as I say that, they lose the face-off. As Slater gets it from Lapierre.
It had nothing to do with you saying that.
Oh, you're right. Now Pietrangelo for Lapierre. Had his first goal in 23 yesterday. Lapierre on the hunt against Slater. Back of the goal for Berglund. And then Berglund and Trouba tie each other up. Berglund emerges with it and spins around and fires it, and a good save by Pavlik up high. And the rebound is cleaned up there by Thorburn.
Well, they're encouraging Patrick Berglund to funnel these shots on net. Don't be reluctant to protect that puck and come off the boards and get to the net. That was a wicked little wrister that caught Pavlik by surprise.
Now it is Lindstrom after it, along with Stastny and Backes.
And I told Berglund that while we were having our Tour de France interview on the bikes.
I think he enjoyed that conversation.
I think so too.
It was 5 questions that turned into 15 with Darren Pang.
I don't have simply 5 questions in the bag.
No, you don't. And that's an icing call against the Blues with 2:07 left in the opening period.
Well, for Patrick Berglund, the big 6'4", 215-pound Swede, this is what we're talking about. A little pull-up move here and just whistled it at the net. And that was rising. Watch the shoulder, right shoulder of Pavlik, and it just glanced off his shoulder. That was labeled under the bar and in. Berglund said on that interview that if he had to pay his own money to watch somebody play, it'd be TJ Oshie.
And they are great friends. A little sarcasm there. Now Butler, good to see him back on the ice after taking that heavy hit. As Party turns away from Backes. Nice move by Frolik. Into the zone for Lowry. That was pushed away by Shattenkirk. Back to the jet line. And now sent down the ice the other way by Party. And now an icing violation against Winnipeg.
Well, time now for our Plaza Tire Service shot comparison today as we take a look at Jori Lehtera and Brian Little. Every game we swap these up. We see who's potentially going to have the hot hand or making plays or setting up stuff. So far, Little's got the advantage over everybody because he's got the only goal of the game. Let's keep our eye on it. I mentioned Jackman before. John has not had a shift since taking that puck off the lower body.
Now Lehtera in the deep slot. Can't get it on goal. Lowry there for the Jets. And then dropped into the corner, picked up by Gunnarsson. So the Blues for now down to 5 defensemen. Tarasenko at the line. Up the slot, a shot and a save by Pavlik. Tarasenko after it against Bogosian. And then Berglund helps out. Berglund trying to get the puck away from the pack. Now for Tarasenko. Enter back of the goal with a minute to go in the opening period. Jets up the middle, cut off by Schwartz for Tarasenko. And his shot blocked. Comes to Shattenkirk, fakes it. Now lets it go, on goal and a save. And then Berglund a good hold in. Here's Tarasenko again. And late on his shift, can't get it around Emstrom.
Tarasenko seizing up there. I mean, he and Schwartz, these guys are exhausted. That's why it is crucial in back-to-back games to keep those shifts as short and explosive as possible.
And here's Jackman back on the ice.
Yep.
And now picked up by Lapierre. Headman's on to Steen. Center ice for Pietrangelo. It's 20 to go in the period. He'll flip one behind the Winnipeg net. Stewart there around the boards. Cut off by Lapierre. Good play back to Jackman. And Jackman's shot rejected. Now Lapierre with it. That comes in front. And Oshie plays it around the other way.
Bufflin's holding onto the stick of Pietrangelo the whole way. Bufflin had lost his stick. Referee didn't see that. Pietrangelo was trying to get away from Big Buff.
And that is the end of the period. And the Blues were better in the last 10 minutes. The only goal by Little at 9:04. Jets outshoot the Blues 12-9 in the opening frame and lead by 1. John Kelly and Darren Pang back in Winnipeg as the Blues get set to take on the Jets here in the second period. The only goal by Brian Little at 9:04 of the opening period. And there is the goal scorer, Brian Little. First goal in 14 games to have the Jets on the board.
Well, Brian Little in the top line played just over 6 minutes on the ice for the Winnipeg Jets, while Jake Allen faced 12 shots on goal. The guy that had the most amount of shots was Michael Frolik. He had 4 shots on goal, leading all Winnipeg Jet players.
Blues hockey is sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
Kevin Shattenkirk led all Blues with 3 shots on goal.
Teams are at full strength here. Blues win the faceoff. Steen gets it in. And off the boards, chip to center. And now Evander Kane away. His shot up high. And that goes by the glove of Jake Allen.
That's the nemesis of Evander Kane. He misses the net an awful lot.
And there's a shot. Didn't miss the net there. As Allen goes down on the butterfly and makes the save. And now we have the skirmish in behind the Blues goal.
Well, we've seen this time and time again, and of course Evander Kane being a fast-skating left winger going up against the right D. A lot of the matchups have been Evander Kane going up against Alex Pietrangelo. And on this little scrum right here, Perreault makes a nifty little backhand pass while the Blues are on the offensive side of the puck. No one on the defensive side of the puck. And what I mean by that is you've got to be in a position there, if the puck squirts loose, to be between your goaltender and their player. You can't be cheating on the offensive side of it, because when you do that, that happens there. Perreault makes a nifty little pass, and the guy that I said misses the net all the time tries to go between the 5-hole. But the shot before, John, he missed the net on the rush with Perreault driving hard to the net. It's a squandered opportunity. Last
year, the Blues were 4-0-1 against the Jets. And all time, going back to their days in Atlanta, the Blues are 13-3-4 against this franchise. Stolen back on the goal by Backes. Now Backes, Lindstrom, and Stastny up front here. Lindstrom trying to get away from his check. On the cycle again to Backes. He lets it go. Now Stastny back of the cage, spins away from Postma. And then to Shattenkirk for Gunnarsson. In the deep slot. Tipped along by Backes. Now back for Gunnarsson. He goes across. Shattenkirk waits, fires it wide by a foot. Now Gunnarsson again. Pumps it back of the goal. That comes around. Shattenkirk stops on a dime. Spins off the check by Lowry. Trying to get to the front. And he can't. Goes back to Gunnarsson. And again, he makes the smart play behind the goal. Now Tarasenko into the zone. Pass back, kept in. Long shot. As Butler let it go, that may have been tipped, and a save by Pavlik. Very good keep in there by Butler, hanging in there inside the blue line, and it enabled the Blues to get a line change here. Lehtera jumps on. And here he is. Lehtera's drive, and a save by Pavlik. And now Butler does a good job to hold it in. And then Lehtera in there against Postma. Fights off the check. Schwartz helps out, and the Jets break it up, and here they come to center ice. Led by Ladd. Broken up by Cole. And he shoots it over the boards at the Winnipeg bench. Good sustained pressure by the Lindstrom Backes line. And there's the shot as Lehtera comes off the bench in the offensive zone. Tarasenko is able to jump onto the ice here just as Butler keeps it into the zone. And so fresh bodies come on out there as the St. Louis Blues get their first bit of sustained pressure. First time we've seen the Winnipeg Jets in a little bit of a vulnerable spot in their own zone in this game. Nice pass by Tarasenko through the legs to Lehtera, and here the Blues to center ice just like that. Butler comes in. Butler a shot, tipped on goal, and covered by Pavlik. All set up by just a brilliant pass in his own zone by Tarasenko. Yeah, Tarasenko on the right side between his legs finds Lehtera. Now on this rush, unfortunately for Butler, he doesn't hear. Watch Tarasenko, 91, is behind. Butler's got the puck there. Butler's just thinking of getting it on net, but Tarasenko is wide open on that play. And Butler's just looking. I'm sure he's thinking to himself, okay, don't drop it back. If I'm the defenseman leading the rush and I drop it back and it goes over Tarasenko's stick, then we're all in a whole lot of trouble. But Tarasenko was wide open on that play. Now it's Ott on the faceoff against Slater. Slater's their best faceoff man at 56%. And Ott really chokes up on his stick as he loses the faceoff. And then drifted around by Stewart. And then cleared to center ice by Martin Stewart. And Slater was 83% in the first period. Now Jackman ahead for Ott. And then played to the far side for Pietrangelo. Whips one to center ice. Hammered back in by Stewart. All the way around to Jackman. That's tipped along by Lapierre. Broken up by the Jets. And then gloved down by Slater. Oh, that bounced wide of the goal. Now the Blues trying to catch the Jets on a change off Lapierre's skate. And Ryan Reeves. And he has a big hit in the corner on Stewart. He saw him. He lined him up for the blue line. And now Stewart goes back after Reeves. They have words. Play continues. Blues enter the zone. Shattenkirk. That goes wide. Comes around. Steen can't get a shot. Kept in by Gunnarsson. Now Gunnarsson gets it back. Dribbles one to the corner. And then Berglund crashes down low along with Oshie. And Oshie knocks it away from the pack. Stewart with it. Shattenkirk, great pinch in. Now back of the goal for Berglund. Berglund in front off the goal stick of Pavlik. Kept in, though, by Shattenkirk to Gunnarsson. He comes in, fakes it. Oh, a pass to Oshie. And he wasn't quite ready for it.
Too hard.
And then a pass too hard for Berglund. And out of center ice, the Jets and Perreault, but a great back check by Oshie. And he flicks it on to Steen into the zone with Shattenkirk. Now Steen down low to Shattenkirk. Return feed to Steen, and again the pass in his skates, and the Jets try to fire it ahead to Lowry, and this goes all the way down, and icing called against Winnipeg.
You're right. The Blues have had a number of good opportunities to shoot the puck, and some of the passes, just a little bit of those slap passes, just a little bit too firm. But again, that's another good shift, and the Blues are building a little bit of confidence, John, and a little bit of momentum here in that second period. The second period, they're a +5 in goals, 4 goals against. I think Shattenkirk has been outstanding so far in this game as well, really moving around the ice, making it difficult for Winnipeg to defend against them.
Now Joachim Lindstrom out of the corner, and the shot flutters in the air. And Darren, at the start of a period, as you know, the ice is hard and it's just resurfaced, so you really don't have to pass the puck that hard.
That's right. Good ice. Just get it nice and flat, make good smart passes. And here's the advantage of having 2 centermen, one a right-hand shot, one a left-hand shot. On the right side of the ice now, Backes can take the face-off, and Stastny becomes the winger.
And Backes wins it. Stastny back for Cole. And then down low to the captain. And he goes all the way back to the line. Now in for Stastny. Wraparound attempt, and it's off his stick. And the Jets take it, and cleared out of play by Lowry, and he goes right to the penalty box.
Adam Lowry, who's had a real strong game, he just goes to clear it off the glass. After the Blues play it behind the net, and time again we talk about Paul Stastny's ability to go behind the net, and he tried a little wraparound from behind. You can see Backes on the little cycle here, and he doesn't have any other options. Replaces the Lindstrom. There's Stastny there, and it rolls off his blade. Lowry just tries to chunk it off the glass, and it's a delay of game minor penalty as he gets a little bit too much off that.
It was 0 for 1 with 1 shot. Now Laterra wins it cleanly. Back for Shattenkirk. He walks the line on to Tarasenko. The shot comes down and wide of the goal. Now Steen. Back of the goal for Schwartz. Back to Steen. Ladd breaks it up, and here come the Jets short-handed. Ladd trying to cut to the middle for Bogosian, and he got in too tight and never got a shot on goal.
But he's wide open, though.
Yes, he was, as he joined the play. Jets have a couple of short-handed goals this year. Schwartz into the zone, across for Laterra. Great pass to Steen. He walks right in a drive, and that hit the back of the goal. What a pass there. Now Tarasenko for Laterra. Out high again to Steen. Steen fires it. They score! Tipped by Schwartz. And a power play goal ties the game.
Good entry into the offensive zone, and the Blues fans here in Winnipeg loving it. Schwartz with a little redirection right in front of the net. This is a very cohesive entry into the offensive zone led by Schwartz from Wilcox, Saskatchewan. And he plays it across to Laterra. And this was the first part here where it gets played back to Steen, who just misses on the short side, and then Laterra again. Steen's got his head up all the way. Steen's not thinking he's going to score from there. He's looking at the blade of the stick of Schwartz the whole way. And that is just an excellent play by Alexander Steen to the kid with great hockey sense, Jaden Schwartz.
His 8th of the year, first in 4 games. And the power play goal at 5:14. And we're tied at 1. Jackman shot blocked. And now the Jets to center, tipped in by Lowry, who was in the box, and the Blues scored that goal. And then Lowry finishes his check on Pietrangelo. Blues dump it in off the corner and grabbed by Trouba, and the former Michigan Wolverine. For Furlik on to Scheifele. Now into Lowry. He comes in, and a wrist shot. And then he was hit by Pietrangelo as he gets back at Lowry.
Backus has really been leading by example on the ice, hasn't he? I mean, there's a lot of different ways to contribute to your team. And, you know, in the first period, when there was a hit from behind by Wheeler, Backus stood up. And there you see Lowry, left winger, going right at Pietrangelo. And Lowry has played with an edge to his game. There's no question about that, but the Blues stick together. They've talked an awful lot, John, about team toughness. It doesn't just take one guy. It takes all 5 guys to observe what's going on. Let's take a look at our dirt cheap snapshot of the game. Look at these guys here. Zach Bogosian on the left, Alex Pietrangelo up top in the back row. That's quite a group of phenomenal NHL players right there.
Jets win the faceoff. A shot by Kane. Trickles through the goal crease. The Blues goal. Schwartz from Steen and Lindstrom at 5:14. And then Kane trying to put Ian Cole into his own bench. And play continues. Now for Butler. On for Berglund. Of course, Chris Butler, the son of Doug Butler, used to play for the SLU Billikens. And Bill Selman back in the day when they were really popular at the old Checker Dome. Oshie, a pass and a shot up high by Cole, and a save there by Pavlik.
Oh, what a
kept
play.
In by Steen.
Unbelievable effort.
For Berglund. He has plenty of time and a shot. That's tipped by the Jet stick of Party to the corner. And now Perreault has it for Winnipeg. And Paul Postma at his own line. So the Blues have picked up their forechecking game here in the second period. And they've tied the game.
Well, this is a line that you want to take advantage of. They've gone for a change now with the Kane, Byfuglien, Perreault line. You can get them hemmed in their own zone.
Now Trouba comes in, trying to center one. Good stick there by Butler. And Lapierre slams it ahead to Cole. Takes a hit. And the Blues to center ice. Whipped in by Ott. Reeves on the hunt. Now played around. Grabbed by Matt Halishchuk, the former Predator, to an open side, and now scooped away by Slater to the Blues line. Shattenkirk now to Reeves. And the Winnipeg native bounces one back in there. And on one hop, Pavlik catches it. And we get a whistle. Schwartz has tied it, a power play goal at 5:14.
Well, Jaden Schwartz gets on the board. Another road goal here. Good play behind the net as our Mazda drive to net. There's Jori Lehtera. Head up all the way. He's got 2 options. He can go to his left, which was Shattenkirk at the right point, or over to the far side. Split that seam a little bit right there, and he plays it right over to Steen. Steen's head up all the way. Nice low shot. The Winnipeg Jets got a little too far away from where the most dangerous player on the ice was, and that was Jaden Schwartz.
Steen and Lehtera.
That's right.
Lindstrom get the assist on the goal.
It's Steen and Lehtera, a Finn and a Swede. Although the Swede was born in Winnipeg.
But plays for the Swedish Olympic team. Now back of the goal, Blues center it. And if you're confused now, so are we. Here's Gunnarsson. Another Swede, can't clear it. And Little comes in, his shot blocked. And then put off the glass by Lehtera to center ice for Tarasenko. Now back to Shattenkirk. Nice move at center ice. Shattenkirk drives one around the end boards. Schwartz is there, takes his man. Tarasenko the puck in front, tipped by Lehtera. What a play. Shattenkirk, the drive, and a save by Pavlik. On a rocket by Shattenkirk. What a sick pass by Lehtera. And the Jets to center ice.
Blues are playing the way that they play now. They're starting to have way better control and composure with the puck, and they've got the Winnipeg Jets in their own zone, a little bit standing still now.
And the Blues are offside here.
That was an excellent scoring chance and a really, really good save by Pavlik, spreading out to his right. Whether he got the blocker or the knob of the stick on, I'm not sure. It goes off the skate. Here's the shot. Keep yourself on the right side. Yeah, blocker save. Good save by Pavlik. Wow. Talk about points by defensemen around the NHL. How about the season Kevin Shattenkirk is having? Giordano, Burns, Sammy Vatanen, and then there's Kevin Shattenkirk.
Now Frolik doesn't get a lot on the clearing attempt, kept in by Jackman. And then Joachim Lindstrom canceled by Party. And then stolen by Steen in front for Lindstrom. Can't get a shot. Now Lindstrom takes a hit. Back for Jackman, a drive. That was wide, looking for a tip. And then Pietrangelo. To Backus, a shot up high on Pavlik, and he has it against his chest. And we get a whistle.
I think Alex Pietrangelo, the last couple of games, is just doing what he does best, and that's just playing hockey. We had a good conversation about that the other day before the game in Ottawa, and he mentioned a number of times, just play hockey, and think the game. And Brad Shaw certainly has been encouraging that as well. These are world-class defensemen. You're talking about guys that have represented their country. He's a two-time second-team end-of-the-year All-Star and will be in the running for a Norris Trophy throughout his NHL career. Shattenkirk, though, has really stepped up his play this year, hasn't he, John? It's been impressive. He's not taken his foot off the pedal one bit.
Yeah, you would have to say he's the most improved player in the first 20 games. Now at center ice, Steen blocks it. Now back for Cole.
I was going to put
Steen
Cole
a pass.
What's that? I was going to put Cole in there. He's pretty much improved as well.
I agree.
I just want to make it a little tougher on him.
I would say one of the most improved. How's that? Now on to center ice for Oshie.
I'll go there.
And then for Berglund. And he'll drop one to the corner. In against Stewart. Berglund, Oshie, and Ott up front here. Puck knocked away from the pack. Around now to Shattenkirk. Great pass back. Ott lost it. And Byfuglien in a foot race against Gunnarsson. And a shot by Byfuglien and a save by Allen. That's how strong Byfuglien is. Now he tips it on goal. And a save by Allen.
Well, Gunnarsson plays within his limitations. Not the fastest or the strongest guy. He tried to get good body position. Fans here in Winnipeg on their feet for big Dustin Byfuglien. And this pass goes off the end of the blade. Shattenkirk to Ott. It leads to a little one-on-one battle here. And Gunnarsson knows that he's not going to be able to do much about that. He's just trying to protect against any kind of real quality shot there. But you can see the strength there of Dustin Byfuglien. A mammoth of a man. Jake Allen makes a couple of quick reaction plays there to keep the puck off to the side.
Byfuglien, a former Cup winner with Chicago, as we've said, can be used as a defenseman or a forward. Where do you like him best, Aaron? Quick shot there.
I like him at forward.
Slater shoots. He scores. He got the rebound, and Slater gives the Jets a 2-1 lead.
Much talked about here in Winnipeg that the fourth line for the Winnipeg Jets haven't gotten a hole undone offensively. And a big juicy rebound comes off the tape of the goaltender Jake Allen. Alex Petrangelo's got it, and he just kind of plays it on his backhand. Keep your eye on 27 there. He's got it. He's just trying to hoist it into an area that gets picked off by Slater. So fourth line against fourth line. And Paul Maurice's fourth line of Thorburn, Slater, and Halishuk. That's only the second goal that the fourth line has scored all season long for the Winnipeg Jets. It's a big one.
Yes, it is. His first of the year, first in 32 games. Going back to last year. So the Jets are back on top. Now the Blues to center. Here comes Kevin Shattenkirk with some room here. On the wing, Tarasenko was in there. Wheeler the other way, 2-on-1 with Ladd. Wheeler waits, cuts in front, wide open. Hit the goalpost, and the Blues clear it down the ice.
Holy jumping, what a late developing play that was. He had loads of time just by delaying like that.
Now kept in by the Blues and Stastny. For Tarasenko in front to Stastny. Puck is loose and covered by Pavlik as the Blues jam away.
Oh, great end-to-end action here.
Slater has the Jets on top with his goal at 9:53.
The former 5th overall draft pick of the Arizona Coyotes. Well, they were the Phoenix Coyotes back then. Blake Wheeler ended up signing with the Boston Bruins. Then over to Atlanta and Winnipeg now, obviously. And he waits, delays, and it goes right off the near side post. Keep your eye on the left post at the bottom of your screen. There. And the Blues are able to clear it. And at the other end of the ice, the Blues are able to get a scoring chance here. Tarasenko cuts back. Little play over there to Paul Stastny, who came off the bench, and then hacking and whacking right there before Pavlik can smother it up.
And a false face-off here with 9:23 left in the second. So Little and Slater have scored for the Jets. Schwartz for the Blues.
Andrew Ladd just came back from the locker room of the Winnipeg Jets to rejoin his mates on the bench there.
Now Backus wins the face-off for Cole. On for Paul Stastny. Stastny looks around. Shoved by Party. And then played back at the goal now for Postma.
That's one of those areas that you've got to move that puck just a little bit quicker. Longer you hang on to it, and Stastny knows that. He's a good playmaker, but you hang on to that, and you get caught. in no man's land, and the play ends up dead while you've got possession in the offensive zone.
Now pass up the middle by Cole. That springs Lindstrom. In for Backes. Just off his stick. Backes pushed the man down. The net is knocked free as he just threw Postma into the net. How about that on a forecheck?
The big captain's a bear this afternoon, isn't he? A battle for the puck. You don't see this very often. Full speed, Postma turns right into him. Bang! Just shoves him aside. And no one there on Winnipeg goes over to the big captain who backed up Chris Butler in the first period after Butler was hit. Postma doesn't have very much of an opportunity there, does he? He leaned right into an oncoming David Backes, who goes about 228 pounds, and at full speed, he's a pretty strong man, hard to contain.
And if Postma didn't know that, he does now. And because he got thrown into the goal, they moved the face-off to center ice. As the Blues win the draw, Gunnarsson gets it back of the cage. Pavlik sets it up. Tipped by Byfuglien, cleared, but not out, and a drive by Berglund up high. Now Oshie back on the goal. Oshie, a pass tip. Gunnarsson, wide open. Shattenkirk fires it wide.
Looking for the tip by Berglund.
And that was close. Now the Blues funnel one back on the goal again. It is Berglund in a slot for Oshie. And he was checked. Good poke check there by Matthew Perreault. Blues at center ice. Here they come again. Berglund in for Steen. Crashes down low, gets some help from Berglund. And then Berglund knocks Perreault down. Berglund gets it free. But now the Jets hop on the loose puck. And a long pass off a skate to center ice. And then grabbed by Byfuglien. And a nice stick there by Ian Cole to break it up. Comes all the way around. Now Kane to the corner for Little. But the Blues get it again, and here they come. Led by Pietrangelo. Driven in by Tarasenko. Enstrom back for the Jets. For Wheeler. Top line against top line here. Now Schwartz, who has scored the Blues goal. He's loose. Leaves it for Tarasenko. Trying to spin off the Ladd check. Tarasenko for Laterra. Now Jori Laterra back to Tarasenko. Off the wall, and then he lost the puck. And Little away for the Jets. Drop pass to Wheeler. Here's Wheeler's shot. And a save by Allen. The rebound not covered. And then Wheeler again. Stops out high, and a good stick there by Laterra to break it up.
Laterra plays the complete 200-foot game. I mean, he was the deepest man in the offensive zone. He beat everybody back, including Tarasenko, to get to the front of the net and defend.
Now Ott in there. Hit twice by Bogosian. And roughed up by the Jet defenseman. And it comes free. Here's Ott back on his skates. Sends one to the line to Shattenkirk. A nice rolling puck. That shot blocked on the tape of Reeves.
Oh, good reverse there.
Now for Ott. He looks around, back to Shattenkirk. No play is there, so he tries to go to the corner. That's blocked by Bogosian. Kept in again by the Blues. Shattenkirk a shot block. Right to Lapierre. Pressure by the Blues. Fourth line here. And Steve Ott again. Back for Gunnarsson. To his partner. Shattenkirk back to Gunnarsson. Trying to walk the line.
Thorburn doesn't have a stick. They got to keep this going here.
Oh, Gunnarsson. Stick handles away from Wheeler. And then Bogosian trying to clear it out. Little does, and the Jets finally get a break here, but no icing here. Under 6 to play in the second. Blues have been outshot 18-17, trailed 2-1. Now Gunnarsson, rink-wide feed for Backes. Out of his reach. And then Lowry off the boards for Frolik. And then Scheifele at the line. Can't get in. Picked up again by Party. Down the wall for Frolik. Away from Shattenkirk. Cuts back of the goal. Now Frolik again. Turns and fires it. And a stick save by Jake Allen. Lowry a wraparound attempt. And a save again by Allen. Jets continue with the pressure. Back to the line. Postma. Then a wrist shot. Redirected on goal by Lowry. And a save by Allen. On Lowry's tip and attempt.
Time now for a Plaza Tire Service shot comparison. That's Blake Wheeler on the right, Vladdy Tarasenko on the left, and 2 attempts blocked from Tarasenko. One of them a good stick play by Enstrom, so 3 total shots on the net. Blake Wheeler hit the post. That was his missed shot on a quality scoring chance.
5:13 left here in the second period, as the Blues wrap up their 4-game road trip. Home Tuesday against Ottawa. As the Jets win the draw, Perreault back for Party. Tipped out of midair by Pietrangelo. And now on to center ice for Oshie. And his pass blocked. Stolen by Backes. Trying to move in. And then worked around to Party, now to center ice. Here's Perreault for Byfuglien. Fakes it. Now Byfuglien cuts back of the Blues goal. In front for Matthew Perreault. He goes for a skate in the corner. Now Postman with it. His drive off the stick of Backes into the netting. Well, the St. Louis Classic returns to Steinberg Skating Rink at Forest Park on December 13th. A giant screen will show the Blues take on the Avalanche in Colorado, while fans can skate and watch our Blues live shows from the rink. It's the St. Louis Classic, Saturday, December 13th, right here on Fox Sports Midwest. Here's Laterra against Little. And the draw won by the Jets for Bogosian. Cut off back of the goal by Cole. Trying to work it ahead. Now for Laterra. Lob to center. Then Tarasenko comes in. Spins around. Into Schwartz. Schwartz stops to make a play. Laterra, what a save by Pavlik on Laterra! His best stop tonight, as he was wide open on the far side. And now Little comes in for Winnipeg. To Wheeler, a shot. That was blocked. And then Cole steals it from Ladd, and the Blues head the other way.
Well, that is the strength there of Ondrej Pavlik. His powerful legs down low. That was a phenomenal save with his left pad.
Now Tarasenko in against Enstrom. And Toby Enstrom away for Winnipeg. He leads the Jets in ice time. He'll drift in on right wing. Now Enstrom a pass in behind the goal for Lowry. To Frolik. And he fans on the shot. And the Jets hold it in there. And then Gunnarsson back of the goal. Lost it. Shattenkirk around the boards to Lindstrom. Pressure there from Stewart. Blues try the other side, but no one is there. Tarasenko has been on the ice for a while, and a shot by Scheifele is scooped up by Allen. And we get a whistle.
Well, in the first period, this Frolik line really had their legs jumping, supporting one another, and created some good scoring chance on Jake Allen. Meantime, here's the STL line. A terrific play there by Schwartz. Watch the spinorama play on the left side of your screen. All alone is Jori Laterra. All alone after Schwartz stops on a dime right here. Gives 5 cents change, and then this great pass. And Laterra just slams it home, but a better save. You can hear the thud of that puck hitting the left pad of the Czech-born Ondrej Pavlik. Best save of the game right there.
Now Stastny on the face-off. He wins it from Perreault. And Pietrangelo can't move it. Kane with it, a shot. Hits something, went high, comes around to Backes. And his pass off a skate, not out. And then Stastny back to get it for Steen. And the Winnipeg native back of the St. Louis goal for Jackman. Up the board.
That's a high hit by Evander Kane.
And Jackman throws the gloves down.
I tell you what, that's a high hit by Evander Kane, and Jackman's taking exception. Stewart's going to jump in there.
And Jackman threw the glove down. He might get a penalty, and now they look at Kane.
And now Pietrangelo having words with Kane. Kane comes in there on the forecheck, and he threw a high elbow or a high forearm, if I'm not right there. Comes up high. I mean, Barrett Jackman doesn't respond like that if it's not something that's deems worthy. I mean, he gets hit all the time. He takes hits all the time. But he didn't like the propelling motion there of Evander Kane.
And the Blues will get a power play. An offensive zone roughing minor against Kane. Their first-round pick in 09.
Twice the Blues, though, have taken exception to a hit, dropped their gloves, grabbed the guy, and there's been no minor penalties. One to Backes in the first, and there to Jackman.
Yeah, a lot of times all you need to do is drop your gloves.
Absolutely.
Blues win a face-off, but it comes to center ice.
But you can also balance out the call by calling maybe one a double minor and one a minor.
Blues 1 for 2 today. And a pass now tipped in by Tarasenko for Laterra. He'll dart to the corner. Jori Laterra holds onto it now for Schwartz. To Tarasenko. Back in front. Schwartz plays it back. Now on the half boards for Tarasenko. And his pass. Laterra in front off the skate of Steen. Chip back to Shattenkirk. And then Steen has it again. Oh, that's blocked by Frolik.
That's a tough one there. You're trying to pass a puck on the power play through skates, between the stick and the skate. Anytime it's through people, it's a tough call. You know, you want to make the sure pass for sure so that it doesn't get picked off.
Now back, a stretch pass into Claire. He scores! David Backes, his 5th power play goal on a great feed, and the Blues tie the game at 2.
Off the bench on a change after Evander Kane takes that roughing call. What a pass by Alexander Steen. Boy, oh boy, he makes up for that pass that gets picked off in the offensive zone with a dart. On the far side, there's the line change. The Winnipeg Jets don't pick it up, and Alexander Steen puts it right on the tape to David Backes, who then just rips a high one over the glove side. That's just a great shot right there by David Backes. Very, very confident pass by Alexander Steen, and a phenomenal shot to finish it off.
His 5th power play goal. It comes at 17:57. And the Blues now 2 for 3 in the power play, and they've tied the game at 2. And now Patrick Berglund. He'll dump the puck in. Berglund, Ott, and Lapierre. And the Jets at their own line. Try to clear to center, they do. And then Ott had not cleared the zone, so we get a whistle. And Darren, looking down at the Blues bench, I don't see Ryan Reeves on the bench. He would normally be on that Lapierre line.
He's on the bench.
Oh, he is there. Okay, there he is. Normally he's down at the other end there with the all the forwards, so my apologies. It has been a feisty game here in Winnipeg. Tied at 2, 90 seconds left in the second period. Oh, Lindstrom almost knocked that fumbling clearing attempt down. Now Scheifele gets it 2-on-1. He cuts in to Lowry and never got a shot on goal. He fanned on it on a 2-on-1, and Backes heads the other way. Pietrangelo shooting one. That was wide and held in by Jackman. Though that pass to the corner hits Stastny up high. He'll guide one back to the goal. And now Lindstrom gets it away from the Jet player to Stastny. Back for Joachim Lindstrom. Try to center one for Oshie. Under a minute to go here in the period as the Jets have it. Then Stewart clears to center ice for Frolik. Trying to chip it by Jackman. Now for Scheifele, falling, and he hooked that one wide. And then Ladd drops it back for Enstrom. All the way behind the goal. Oshie could knock it down. And then Bogosian was stood up by Jackman. Jets get their top line on the ice here. Wheeler with it. Now Blake Wheeler back for Bogosian. Winds up and fires it wide. And now Pietrangelo in the corner. 20 to go in the period. Can't get there. And then Little goes for a skate out high. Back to Ladd. Look out, a shot. Got through, and a save by Allen.
Good save.
And then fired around by Jackman. And they're going to call icing here on the Blues with about 5 seconds left in the period.
And this comes on the heels of the Winnipeg Jets having a phenomenal scoring chance and not getting a shot on goal. But then they counter it with another line change. And for Paul Maurice's club, he's got to be happy with this last little push that they have. Good save there by Jake Allen with Blake Wheeler in front of the net. Icing call, tired group. Only 4.6 left in the second.
Jets win the faceoff. And a save again by Jake Allen. That last goal by the Blues. Back is from Steen and Allen. So Jake Allen with an assist.
Yeah, I thought he stopped that puck and pushed it up there to Alexander Steen. This is a phenomenal face-off win, and it tells you that you can create a pretty darn good scoring chance with very little time on the clock. Now keep in mind, Stastny now gets a break because they were out of gas. They were hemmed in their own zone, then they iced the puck. And a clean face-off win by the Winnipeg Jets results in that good scoring chance from a distance.
And they'll pull the goalie with 9/10 of a second left.
I would imagine that Steve Ott, who's going to take this face-off for the Blues, will kind of drop to his knees. Now, you're not allowed to drop to your knees and play it with your hand. It's a minor penalty. But drop into your knees so that you're going to take away any kind of shooting angle. Look at this. This is a scrum.
And Little got a shot away. That went wide. Yeah, looked like a couple of football teams lining up at scrimmage there.
That's why you got Reeves on the ice.
Yeah, he's a
noted football enthusiast.
A linebacker from Winnipeg.
Absolutely. The big Winnipeg native, Ryan Reeves.
Blues outscored the Jets 2-1 in that second. We played 40 minutes of hockey in Winnipeg. Blues and Jets knotted at 2. We are getting set for the third period here in Winnipeg as Jake Allen and the Blues get set. Tied at 2. Blues goals from Schwartz and Backus. Little and Slater have scored for Winnipeg. In what has been a very physical game here through 40 minutes. 35 total hits.
No question about that, and it started right off the hop in this game with Dustin Byfuglien finishing his check on the veteran Barrett Jackman, playing in his 744th career game, and then you see a little give back there by Ott on Thorburn, and Stewart always gets involved in the physical stuff. The one young player that I've been extremely impressed with has been Adam Lowry, number 17, and born in St. Louis. He's been really good. Jackman's been battling through it, as you would expect. Never whines, complains, or makes excuses about any injuries. But boy, does he play hurt. And there's 744 games for Barrett Jackman, the only team he's ever played for. He joins the great Brett Hull and trails only a few now.
The Blues, when tied after 2, a record of 4-2-1. The Jets, 4-1 even after 40 minutes. Here comes Pietrangelo. Teams are at full strength there. Rolled in for Oshie. Gets it away from Postma. Now Oshie and Steen down low. Jets take over. And then Postma to center ice. And then snapped in by Byfuglien. He goes after it against Jackman. They've been antagonists all night long. And the Blues in front. Taken by Oshie. And there's that long little flipper with some backspin. Nice little wedge there by Oshie, but he got to the dots, and it's an icing call against the Blues.
Well, we talk about defenseman Jay Bouwmeester not being able to play, and his Ironman streak is shut down. 737 career games. Look at the wonderful list of names ahead of him, including the former Blue Gary Unger, left point in the game in Ottawa. He said to me that it actually happened just prior to this, but this was his last shift. See a little hitch as he leaves the ice and never did return to it. So Blues greatly missed the two-way play of Jay Bouwmeester.
He misses the game for the first time since 03-04. And a stretch pass there goes down the ice. Icing called. In his second year with the Panthers in 03-04, he broke his foot and missed about 21 games. Well, since then, he's played every game.
You would think that it would happen more often. I mean, just any kind of slap shot from the point, top of the circles, the defenseman's always defending, getting in the way. And to not have an injury, to play the amount of minutes that Jay Bouwmeester plays against, the quality of competition that Jay Bouwmeester plays against is absolutely phenomenal.
And that goes out of play. Yeah, you can't forget about the mental toughness that he has to withstand the rigors of an 82-game schedule playing against the top players every night.
Yep. Mentally, you've got to get yourself geared up for every game to play at that level. He's in such great condition, Jay Bouwmeester is, and this lower body injury or mid-body injury will slow him down a little bit. Hopefully it's just not too serious.
Now the Blues off the face-off, get the puck in deep. Stastny after it. He pushes Scheifele, but the Jets to center ice, now on to Trouba. Good young defenseman out of Michigan. His shot, that hit, a stick goes high. Now around 4 for Leak. Backus there, tips it, kept in by Stewart. A shot blocked by Backus. And here comes the captain the other way. He'll dump it into himself. He gets there, in on goal, and then he runs right into the net. And we get a whistle. And Backus has He's played like a runaway bull in this game.
Yes, he has. And we talk about leading by example, and so it's not. It's just some of the little things you end up doing. He blocks the shot here. Now he gets it. He did this a lot last year. Gets the center ice, dumps it into it himself. Just a smart play. And then goes backhand, forehand before running into the net. It's been a bull in a china shop in this game here this afternoon in Winnipeg.
Has he ever?
Looks like he's having a whole lot of fun in it, too. He doesn't mind getting his boots dirty. Playing that kind of style. Plays with an edge. That's when he's as effective as he is. Boy, he's been phenomenal on the power play, hasn't he? 5 of his 6 goals have been with the man advantage.
And now it is Lehtera, Tarasenko, and Schwartz against the Jets top line of Little, Wheeler, and the captain Ladd. From the faceoff, here is Andrew Ladd. Around the wall it goes. Taken by Wheeler, back for Bogosian. Long shot, looking for a tip, well wide. And Tarasenko in the corner. Now Little escapes. Here's Wheeler against Chris Butler. Wheeler gets to the deep slot. Played back to Ladd, a shot blocked by Schwartz, and a race here. And Jaden Schwartz comes in, now to Tarasenko. He was pummeled into the boards, and the Jets clearing the center ice.
I think Tarasenko was trying to drop that off, bank it off the boards to an oncoming Jori Lehtera, but he just got smoked with a good hit by Zach Bogosian.
Now back on the line, Pietrangelo a shot. That goes wide, and then Ott in front. Reeves shoots, he scores!
Oh!
Ryan Reeves, the Winnipeg native, and the Blues take a 3-2 lead.
Holy jumping, the big fella turns and spins. Spinorama, and just jams it in the back of the net. What a feeling that must be for Ryan Reeves. 3 goals this year for the big fella. He was married this summer to Alana, and they had quite a wedding here. So many of his teammates showed up, and there's the Spinorama play right there. The goaltender can't see because he's screened on it. Ott just jams it at the net, and the fourth line for the Blues has goals in back-to-back games. Lapierre scored a beauty in the last one, and now Reeves in this one. And look at Evander Kane and Reeves on one side, and Dustin Byfuglien and Max Lapierre on the other side. That is some great stuff there. Oh.
His 3rd of the year, his career-high 4 goals in the lockout shortened season in 12-13, and the Blues lead for the first time. That's ripped in from center by Postma. Now Kane a hit on Pietrangelo. Blues get it. And here they come to center ice. Max Lapierre. He comes in to the backhand. And a shot at the back of the goal. Ends up back of the cage and now grabbed by Paul Postma. Center ice for Kane. In against Jackman. Kane centers it. Good stick there by Allen to knock it away. Reeves gets that goal from Ott and Pietrangelo at 2:25, and the Blues with a 3-2 lead. And Stewart comes in, but Kane is in there offside.
Well, for Ryan Reeves, chipping in with 3 goals. He's been tenacious on the forecheck. Last year he was hampered by that broken hand, and obviously that really hurts the way that you're going to play games. But he's a guy that backs off the other team's D because he's such a terrific skater, such a powerful skater for a big man. That allows him to play the role that he plays because he gets around the ice, he can make a play, gets the puck out of his zone. You know who his best friend growing up was? Steen? Well, no, growing up, you know Scott Oak from the CBC? Great
Hockey Night in Canada.
Hockey Night in Canada. And it was Scott Oak's son. They lived right across the street from the Reeves. And his son, Darcy, who's a world-class magician, was the best man at Ryan Reeves' wedding.
Yeah, I seen call here. And by the way, that's his first ever goal against the Winnipeg Jets.
That's why I was excited. I'm looking at the bench. As soon as he scored, you look at the bench and you look at the reaction, and all the fellas in the Blue Note just up and smiling and grinning, and there's nothing like it when your fourth line players score goals because they do all the other things. They're the first guys to drop their mitts and have a scrap or get in there on the forecheck and bang around some bodies. But it sure is nice when you can score a goal and contribute that way.
Everybody likes to score. I don't care if you're a fighter or a defenseman, whatever. And the Blues lead 3-2. As Chris Butler back to get it. In his debut game in a Blues uniform. Played last year in Calgary. Had 16 points with the Flames.
Playing every game.
Now Bogosian with it up the boards. Off Ladd. And then grabbed by Wheeler. Former Minnesota Gopher. Now Wheeler pulls up to make a play. And then a shot up high. Caught by Allen with Ladd right in his kitchen.
Wheeler's getting a lot of time going down the right side, spinning, and losing coverage. The Blues have allowed this to happen here. Here's the one-on-one. Now the pull-up's tough to defend. So Butler now has got to follow him up right here. And there's a little bit of confusion there with Schwartz. And now some little bit of separation there that allows that shot to come through. Maybe Butler gets up there a little bit closer to him. But it ends up being a shot that Allen made look easy.
Now a shot by Enstrom. That was blocked by Jackman. And then Jackman in the corner lost it to Perreault. But then Jackman wraps him up. Here's Kane centering it. Broken up there by Pietrangelo. Now Perreault to the corner. Kane in front again. Byfuglien is open. And he can't get a shot as Backes came back. And Backes whips it down the ice. And Backes may have gotten a stick up high. And he will head to the Blues bench.
Referee is right there.
And he's in some difficulty as he goes to the bench.
And this is after he had the puck. He does this a lot. He fired right at their goaltender, and then he was going to go off for a line change.
Wow, is he ever cut?
Is he ever? Oh, my goodness. I mean, David Backes is trying to get the attention of the referee, who's unbelievably just looking away. And here's the play. Let's take a closer look at it. He fires it on net. Oh, jeepers. My goodness gracious. That's Dustin Byfuglien's blade. You go to CSI Winnipeg, you're going to find some skin and some blood on the end of that blade right there of Dustin Byfuglien. And he cuts him badly. The referee was right there. Like, what does he think causes the cut to the face?
That should be at least a double minor.
It's a double minor for sure.
And the Jets win a face-off, but it comes all the way down the ice. And Backes, as you saw, went off to the Blues locker room for repairs. Now Ott to Gunnarsson, and that is slowed up, and the play is offside. And Darren, in case you aren't aware, the rule is, regardless if you try to do it, if it's an accident, whatever, if you cut a guy with your stick, it's a double minor.
Well, the referee's on the boards. He's got to be looking. Is he looking in front of the net? Is he not looking at the play?
I mean, he's right there. He's 10 feet away. Well, he missed it. Now a pass picked off by Schwartz. And coming across is Enstrom with a good defensive play. And now the puck at the line, poked to center ice by the Jets. And Cole goes across for Butler. To Laterra. He's turned away.
It's really important to manage the lines now with the lead. Winnipeg's going to be pressing. The pucks can't be just layered in softly. They've got to get in there below the goal line. Force Winnipeg to go retrieve and travel 200 feet to get a chance.
Now the puck comes around to Ladd. Feeds it back to Stewart. A shot in a glove. Saved by Allen. And then Ladd comes into the slot area.
Glove's been good, hasn't it, for Jake Allen? Very, very good. He's snaring a lot of pucks. You can catch a pea through fog tonight the way he's seen that puck come in there. Shot, quick hands, cover it up, slow things down. Good bounce back game for Jake Allen. Disappointed in the game that he played in Montreal, only because there's so much pressure. You got your family there, grandma's there, everybody traveled 8 hours. I'm sure he's one side of him happy to get that one over with, but the other side, there's no question as a goaltender, you've donned those pads at an early age knowing there's some good and some bad with that position. And I know he was disappointed, but I thought he still made some great saves in Montreal.
Yes, he did. His career record is 14-6, 7-3
awesome.
At home, 7-3 on the road. Steen kicks the puck back on the goal. Wrapped up by Trouba. Now Berglund knocks it away, but the Jets on it. And here's Adam Lowry, the rookie. And he fires it off the boards into the Blues zone. And then Jackman across for Pietrangelo. Plenty of room up the middle. Tipped along by Oshie. And now set up back of the goal for Postma. Close to 7 minutes gone here in the third period. Evander Kane comes in, and a shot, and a stick save by Allen. And he sweeps the rebound to the corner. Now played to this side again for Kane. Kane a centering pass, blocked by Gunnarsson. And then Gunnarsson and Shattenkirk in the corner. Kane has lost his glove up the wing now for Lindstrom. And he is worked over by Perreault. And then Kane again off the back of the goal, comes in front. And then fired away by Paul Stastny to Lindstrom. And that goes down the ice. Postma, long feed to center ice for Byfuglien.
Oh, good hit by Steve Ott, finishing his check there on Byfuglien after Byfuglien made the pass.
And now Lindstrom reverses, takes a hit from Kane. And then Laterra, what a move in his own zone. On to Shattenkirk. Shattenkirk will lob one to the corner. Laterra goes after it. He bumps Toby Enstrom. And then Scheifele away from the corner. That pass to center, tipped by Cole, and now tracked down by Butler. And then back to center ice. Up and down we go. We were with a dozen minutes left in the third period. Jets ram it back into the zone. Scheifele a shot. That's blocked by Lapierre.
Oh, nice pass.
Now passed on to Butler to center ice for Tarasenko. Blues down to 11 forwards here for the moment, with Backes off in the Blues locker room getting repairs. Now Scheifele to center ice for Lowry. He comes in. Lowry going wide on Pietrangelo. They go shoulder to shoulder. Steered back to Stewart. In front. That's blocked by Allen, in the Blues with it. Pietrangelo now to center ice to Reeves, who has the go-ahead goal here in the third period. And then Lapierre pounds it in.
Fourth line has been a difference maker the last two games. Lapierre scoring a beauty yesterday afternoon in Ottawa in the victory, and now Ryan Reeves. And Steve Ott has been tremendous in this game. I would say that it's been Steve Ott's best game this year by far as a member of the Blues. Finishing his checks, been tenacious. They've been a factor.
The Blues' fourth line about 5 minutes through 2 periods. And as we said earlier, the Jets do not play their fourth line too often. And at times they do get worn down in the third period.
Oh boy, Shattenkirk's stick snapped. He doesn't have a twig right now.
Look out here. Little into the zone, but played away to center ice by Stastny.
Yeah, that's a good play right there. And TJ Oshie quickly handed his stick over to Shattenkirk. Both right-hand shots. Smart play by Oshie.
And now Adam Pardy with it for the Winnipeg Jets. That's center ice. This pass blocked by Lindstrom, but then snapped in by Kane. That bounces wide. And then Butler up the wing. And a good job by Stastny to get over and knock it to center ice.
Yeah, it's twice that Stastny's made good plays just to get it out of the zone.
Now Byfuglien plays it back in his own zone. And now a pass up the wing for Adam Pardy. That pass to the line, now to Perreault. In with Byfuglien, a pass. And that hit Butler. And now Byfuglien goes sliding into the Blues net and knocks it off its pegs. Reeves has the go-ahead goal here in the third period.
Power play led by and large by assistant coach Kirk Muller. You take a look at the power play goals in this game. 2 for 2 in the second period. A key to it. Jori Laterra looking one way, passing the other way. Smart play by Alexander Steen. And then Steen retrieves. After he turned it over in the offensive zone, he came back. Jake Allen pushed it to him. He made a great pass to the captain, who has had an outstanding game for Ken Hitchcock and the St. Louis Blues. So everybody works together on these things, and clearly your head coach makes the final decisions on all these, but you've got to give your assistant coach all kinds of responsibility. And that's why Doug Armstrong, Ken Hitchcock went after a guy like Kirk Muller. Great experience as a member of the Montreal Canadiens coaching staff that led the Canadiens to that conference finals surprise appearance back in 2010, winning 2 games on the road. 2 game 7s on the road, Washington and in Pittsburgh, to get there to the conference finals. An amazing run.
A year ago, the Blues power play just under 20%. That was ranked 5th. And they are over 24% this year. including today. Just past the 10-minute mark here in the third. Blues up by 1. Face-off won by Laterra. Cleared up the board. Schwartz gets it out. And then regathered by Ladd. Now for Enstrom. His pass intended for Wheeler. Jackman stepped on the puck.
They did.
And that was a break. And Schwartz hammers it off the boards and down the ice. And Toby Enstrom back to get it. He'll reverse it now for Little. On for Bogosian. Into Wheeler. Wheeler pulls up. Everybody's covered. To Enstrom a shot. And that hit Little in front to the corner. Now Enstrom drops it off. Bogosian with it. Pass off Wheeler's stick. And that's a break for the Blues. Tarasenko.
Oh, boy.
Near the line, but not out. What did you say earlier about the lines, Darren?
You have to manage them. I mean, there's a little 5-8-foot buffer there, a little gray area just inside and outside your own blue line, and that is not a toe drag area. And Tarasenko does know better than that in that situation, because now it's an icing call, and that same group's got to stay on the ice. Keep our eye on Ken Hitchcock to see if he calls a late timeout. I'm looking at the bench right now. It doesn't appear to be doing so, or does he? Yes.
30-second timeout.
That's a young mistake there in the Blues bench, and everybody knows when you're on the bench and you're watching that those are the areas that you just can't cough the puck up.
Well, already missing Cardinals baseball, Fox Sports Midwest brings you the Cardinals Hot Stove Report starting Wednesday. We'll go one-on-one with John Mozeliak and Adam Wainwright and look at the trade for Jason Hayward. Cardinals Hot Stove Wednesday at 7 right here on Fox Sports Midwest.
Love hot stoves.
Hockey or baseball, whatever.
Especially in the middle of winter. It gives you a chance just to throw some stuff around, you know?
Just talk about the team next year.
This is what we do on a daily basis.
We hot stove it every single day with our group.
Every night, too.
Now another face-off between Laterra and Perreault. Perreault wins it back for Trouba. And then Byfuglien back on the goal. Taken care of by Pietrangelo. Jackman up the wing and poked to center ice by Tarasenko. Here are the Jets right back in.
Look out.
Evander Kane. And his shot blocked by Tarasenko. Byfuglien with it. And Jackman is hurt. And a high stick called against the Jets.
Stewart's going to go off. Veteran defenseman Mark Stewart. I think anyway. Oh, maybe it's Evander Kane. My mistake. Well, Ray Burley, the trainer for the Blues, is doing a little bit of work there. As you see the gash on the right eye. Far too close to the eye there. As you see, Kane follows through. Then he reaches out. Now that stick's going to come up high right here. And he just rakes it across the face right there. And the referee sees it. There's David Backes before. The referee's in a similar position. And the stick comes up clearly and just cuts him. The stick goes all over the place. He holds his face. And there was no call on that one there with the referee 5 feet away.
And Backes has not returned since getting cut. And now a double-minder to Kane. And the Blues on the power play, 2 for 3 for the day. And they win the faceoff. Oshie for Lindstrom. Back to Steen, now to Oshie. He waits in the circle, a shot, and a pad save rebound to Stastny. And that was stopped again by the pad of Andre Pavlik. Jets clear it high. Steen at the line, that was tipped away. And the Blues have to clear that zone.
That's a good play there by Michael Frolik. He was on the Stanley Cup winning Hawk team, and he was a big part of the penalty kill for that team. He's good at it.
Smart player. And now the Blues come back in offside.
Yeah, Michael Frolik and Marcus Kruger. They were a tag team, and of course, this day and age of cap issues, a lot of good players have to leave teams because of those situations. You got to balance the ledger. Winnipeg Jets end up getting a real good player there in Michael Frolik. Quick feet, smart player.
Former first rounder by the Panthers. 3:20 left in the double-minder to Kane.
Alexander Steen, former first rounder of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Came in the Stepniak trade. Tarasenko at the line. He was hit by Enstrom. And the Jets sail high down the ice. Allen, who has an assist tonight, sets it up. And now back for Shattenkirk. Blues have been outshot 27-24, but lead by 1. Schwartz at the line. Can't get in. So far, the Blues have not been able to set up on this power play.
No, they can't enter the zone just yet. So I think in that situation, a lot of times, you know, you've got so many breakouts that you've already got planned, and sometimes they just don't work. There we go. Good play by Steen.
He gets it in now for Pietrangelo. And he'll walk down the wall. To the slot for Schwartz. Tarasenko works on the left wing. Schwartz a pass. Steen is wide open, a drive. And then Tarasenko to midair. Rebound. It comes in front of Laterra. And a save. How did Tarasenko ever hit that puck out of midair?
Well, we saw him do that in Montreal, where he had a fluttering puck that jumped up and then he just swatted it out of midair after Alexander Steen had a real hard shot on the far side. Steen started everything. Now he jumps in there because Schwartz gives him the pass. Keep your eye on Tarasenko there. Swats it out of midair, but it's a fluttering, blubbery, bouncing, hobbling puck that ends up getting eaten alive there by Pavelec.
That was a lot harder puck to deflect out of midair than the one he did the other night in Montreal. Speaking of Cardinals hot stove, maybe he could hit cleanup for the Redbirds next year if he's not doing anything in the summer. He's got the hands, Darren.
Hey, Russian
baseball players?
Yeah.
I don't think so. He could be a groundbreaker.
Yeah.
Now Cole with 2 minutes left in the Blues power play. At the line, Bergman can't get in there. And Oshie back to get it.
This is a grand opportunity for the Blues to show, obviously, greater desperation here and put this game away.
Well, Stastny, his pass picked off. You're right. They would love a 2-goal lead here. Now Stastny for TJ Oshie. Twisting and turning now in for Pietrangelo. He'll dart to the corner. Get some support there from Berglund. And 2 Jets are back defending. Enstrom up the wing. Now back to the corner again. Enstrom and Berglund battle.
A couple of Swedes.
It's in their skates.
I understand why they don't blow these ones down.
Finally, pried away by Berglund. Now Pietrangelo fires it high, and a head-hunting drive hit the glass, and the Jets turn it the other way. And now for Mark Scheifele. Drops it off Bogosian, a shot, and a save by Allen. With 56 left in the Blues power play.
Better penalty killing than power play. That's the bottom line there. The Winnipeg Jets make some adjustments there. They gave up 2 power play goals in the second period. But they've been good here in keeping this game close. The Blues with a double minor. You have a chance to score on 1 power play, and then you still have another one. Score inside the first 2 minutes. That shot by Pietrangelo, high and over the net. David Backes returns to the bench after getting some repairs. The locker room's across the ice, just like it is in Montreal. So as the play's going on and you're ready to return, you have to, it's a great disadvantage for the visiting team.
Yeah, the Jets could go right behind their bench into their locker room. Now the Blues to center. Schwartz in for Steen. And a drop pass, and that gets between the point men. And a diving Tarasenko could not hold it in. Now Shattenkirk for Laterra. Pass tipped into the zone. Steen to Tarasenko. Slowed up there by Stewart, and then lobbed out of the zone by Slater.
Been a rough go of it today for Tarasenko. He's bobbing and weaving and ending up in a lot of traffic there. It looks like a glove or his shoulder got up high right around his visor.
Here comes Shattenkirk. Schwartz centers it. And a good back check there by Frolik. And he throws it down the ice. And that's going to do it. Under 5 to play. Blues up by 1, but can't score the double minor. Here's Pietrangelo. Lost it. And then Kane passed to Bufflin. That was almost a 2-on-1, and Bufflin wasn't ready for it.
It should have been.
And that's a break there for the Blues.
Pietrangelo has the puck in the neutral zone, and that's just to get that sucker down deep, hard.
Here comes Thurow in for the Winnipeg Jets. Pietrangelo a pass tipped away. Comes in front, Jackman for Pietrangelo, and now finally to center ice to Backes. And he sends the puck deep in the Jet zone. And Evander Kane back there. With 4:05 left in the third period. Kane drops one to the corner. And then Gunnarsson, look out. He is forechecked hard there by Perreault. Lapierre off the boards. And Steve Ott, a good play on Lowry. The Blues to center ice. Lapierre's dump it. That was blocked by the Jets. Lowry defers to Trouba. Now Postma up the middle, blocked by Shattenkirk, and now walked along by Lapierre. Again, this fourth line on the ice for the Blues. As you said, Darren, they've been really good on this road trip. And now Frolik back deep in his own zone. For Jacob Trouba, the 20-year-old. To Lowry, into Scheifele, in front of drive, and a blocker save by Allen. And then four players battle for it to the right of Allen. At the line, Trouba. He works in a shot and a stick save there by the Blues goaltender. And Oshie back in the corner. Can't work it out. Frolik with it. Toe drag, then a shot. May have hit his own man Scheifele in front. And then Ladd to the line to Enstrom. Trouba, one-timer, and a save by Allen with the pad. And then Berglund in the corner. A late push here by the Jets with 2:45 left.
Winnipeg feeding off that great penalty kill. Blues have allowed them to get in this game still. They're believing, they're hanging in. That's a great chance and a great save by Jake Allen on that slapper.
And a good stick there by Oshie to finally clear it away. And now Trouba. He is scored by Schwartz. Ladd up the middle. Now Wheeler gets in. And you are right, Mr. linesman / broadcaster. It is offside. 2:25 left in the third, and the Blues up by a goal. Time now for the Bommarito Automotive Group Sports Update. Last night in Dallas, Stars up 2-0. Jamie Benn makes it 3-0. And then Kyle Lendon, he can pass the puck very well. Sagan, the breakaway goal. And the Stars a 5-4 victory last night against the LA Kings.
That's number 4, Jason Demers, traded for number 4, Brendan Dillon with that hard blast. And we see the Central Division Western Conference standings.
Blues could move into first place with a win here today. Nashville is idle. Chicago plays later tonight in Vancouver after a huge win last night at Edmonton against the reeling Oilers, who have lost 6 straight. 2:05 to go here. Blues leading by 1.
Goaltender's out.
He's off early. Pavlik to the bench. Tarasenko for Laterra. And he lobs it high down the ice, but not far enough for icing. The Blues have not scored an empty net goal this year. That's a bad pass by Byfuglien. And then Stastny at the empty net. That was tipped wide of the goal.
Let's keep our eye on the neutral zone positioning here of the Blues.
1:40 left. Ladd tips it. That rolls wide of the goal. And then Jackman smacks it high. Glove down by Byfuglien, and then off Ott, I believe,
yes,
and out of play.
Ott's trying to say that it went off Ott and then off Byfuglien's chest and then out of play, which would mean that face-off would be on the outside. But it's going to be just barely inside this. Oh, no, it's going to be inside the zone, excuse me. Like the old days, huh, John?
Yeah, where they would have a face-off.
Yep, right inside the blue line.
Right,
in that
instead
situation.
of in a circle.
Going to be a timeout here for Paul Maurice and the Winnipeg Jets. So why don't we update everyone on our Plaza Tire Service shot comparison. There's Kevin Shattenkirk on the left and Dustin Byfuglien, the big right winger, defenseman, turn right winger, point on the power play. Big man, 4 total shots for Buff, and Kevin Shattenkirk with 7. 4 shots, couple missed, couple blocked.
Well, stay with us. We'll hear more from Darren Pang on Missouri Lottery Blues Live. That is next here on Fox Sports Midwest.
I'm looking forward to bringing it to the people, John. Looking forward to it.
And the goalie, of course, remains off. 6 attackers. It is Little, Ladd, Wheeler, Kane, Byfuglien, and Enstrom. For the Blues, Stastny, Backes, and Steen up front. Jackman and Pietrangelo on defense. Big face-off. Jets get it back. Steered back of the goal by Enstrom. Now Pietrangelo can't move it out. Little in front. A shot by Kane. That never got on goal. And now it's David Backes. Center ice. Steen has an empty net but can't get it down the ice. Now Backes does, and it rolls wide but not far enough for icing. With 65 to go in the third period. Backes spun down by Wheeler. Play continues. Here comes Byfuglien. Byfuglien hounded from behind by Backes. And hit hard by Backes. Ends up behind the goal little, and then a shot blocked by Backes as Wheeler let it go.
I love David Backes' game here. What great determination in this contest.
Now an empty net for Pietrangelo, and a shot wide. Steen to Stastny. He scores! Stastny! An empty net goal, and the Blues make it 4-2.
Tremendous effort on the backside from David Backes, who's got a goal in this game. Comes back after getting his mouth all cut up. And just a bull in a china shop. Stastny ends up getting his third goal of the year. The boys will be feeling good for Stastny there. Here's Backes coming back in his zone after he collided with the player. Knocks down Dustin Byfuglien. Then he finishes his check on Byfuglien before the Blues can get it out of the zone. And blocked the shot there on Wheeler. Battles for the loose puck. And then they're able to get it down the other way as Steen collides there with Tobias Enstrom, knocking him out. That allowed Stastny to have an empty lane at it. Fires it into the empty net.
First empty net goal this year for the Blues. It comes at 19:20. Stastny's third. But that was a great replay. Just a monster shift by David Backes. And a shot by Berglund on goal. Pavelec makes the easy save. Now Oshie back to line. Gunnarsson. Wide open. Shattenkirk lets it go. And a save by Pavelec. And then the Jets to the corner.
Keep your eye on Lowry and Berglund there. They're a little swatting back and forth.
Stastny gets that goal from Pietrangelo. And the game is over, and the Blues are back in first place with a 4-2 victory against the Jets.
Adjustments got made in this hockey game. Give Winnipeg an awful lot of credit. They came out firing. Jake Allen settled things down. Ryan Reeves scores a big goal to make it 3-2. It ends up being the game-winning goal in this game. Alex Pietrangelo with a couple of assists and an all-round terrific game after the first period anyway by the Blues.
Blues win 4-2.